we are always hunting for the next winner of 5 eggs. And today it might be just right out of the gate. We don't know. We'll give him a chance. He's our current winner, even though the award itself was invented accidentally, yes, I know, by Diamond and Silk. Indeed, here we are with Dan Bongino. Desperately trying to keep in the front. Yes, he might have 2 swollen eggs. We don't know. The great Bongholio has joined us again. He's looking for a teepee for his bunghole. Bongino. And so, oh yeah, this guy. Oh yeah. So this is he's probably if he has a superpower in the I guess in the Sinister Six or the Dunderhead 9. I don't know how many of these idiots there are these days. Their number keeps expanding. If there's something that he's got really well, it's the introducing a conspiracy theory into normal talking points out of I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, there's this thing, right? Just with a weird shrug and a dash of confusion. Now Tucker Carlson does it by just asking, a question that's really a statement and furrowing his brow and, well, that sounds terrible. Bring on guests that will agree with him or that are spouting this very thing. But Bongino does it by just being confused. And half the time I can't tell if he's introducing this conspiracy theory because it's on his list that he gets from the Heritage Foundation like the rest of these bozos, or because he's heard something, from somebody who heard something, and his Trinidad swollen balls link is giving him the inside 2 scoops. You know what I'm saying? Breaking omelets with Alsparks. You can't make, yeah. All right, so I want to see, this is titled, this video is titled, this is from Dan Bongino Show Clips, which is, by the way, what the Joe Rogan stuff got very popular with. Your Name Plus Show Clips, his channel. Did Mark Milley, Pelosi, and China collude against Trump? Collude. They're colluding. It's collude. Where have we heard this word before? Colluding. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Spread the word around the show. This is Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, because check the chat. People all over the world joining us. It's fantastic. All right. What do you got to say, dum-dum? Oops. Hold on. I don't know why his audio is off. Oh, I know what it is. I turned it off. Hold on. There we go. I'll fix it. There we go. I know you wanted to hear more of this. Anyways.
So a general, the Joint Chiefs Chairman in the United States, is calling a sworn nuclear-powered communist enemy of the United States, the Chinese...
Dude, how many words do you have to say to get the sentence right? So General Mark Milley is calling a sworn enemy of the United States and giving them the heads up, and they have nukes and we have nukes and whatever. Don't get the details right in your brain as you speak. Get the details right in your brain, and then, oh, look who I'm talking to.
Communist Party.
Mm-hmm.
To notify them, not the President of the United States at the time, Donald Trump, to notify them that if we were to attack, according to this report, if he were to attack, if Donald Trump were to choose to attack China, he would let them know in advance.
Right.
Can you imagine the strategic advantage this offered the Chinese government in the weeks prior to Joe Biden?
Yes. The missiles away, hallelujah, is a dead giveaway. Hold on one second. The filter on this is such that I think I thought I had a compressor on it. I was mistaken. I'm just going to try and make it so that it's a little bit louder, maybe some gainage. We'll see. Hopefully that will help. Whoops. There we go. Gain done. Pop this up a touch. We'll see. There we go.
Taking over the presidency. Can you imagine? Hey, guys, can you imagine what the conversation...
Let's just make up what happened. Hey, guys, if you think about this logically, if an unlawful order from the president, there were missiles coming, we would let you know. And we talked about this earlier this morning about like if they have boats in the South China Sea, we're gonna give them a warning, and then if they don't move their boats, we're gonna say we just launched missiles towards them. You should probably move your boats. Like we do that in the Persian Gulf. We would do that in this situation. It's not weird at all. But watch this asshole jump through hoops trying to make it that way.
Face the time, Donald Trump.
Push-up time? Have I been given push-ups? I don't have a camera set up yet, guys. Give me some time. Give me over the weekend. I've just gotten the new set done. Now I've got to expand my green screen so it doesn't look like I'm like five-finger death punching Dan Bongino. Yeah, that's right. I just ate Dan Bongino's heart onto it. And you're like, how? You didn't eat anything. Exactly. I'm kidding. He's got a heart. He's a human being. He's just stupid. He's a stupid, stupid man.
Notify them that if we were to attack, according to this report, if he were to attack, if Donald Trump were to choose to attack China, he would let them know in advance. Can you imagine the strategic tactical advantage this offered the Chinese government in the weeks?
Yeah, can you imagine the conversation in the room with the Chinese Communist Party going, he said what? He'll tell us? Oh shit, they've already fired, haven't they? Do we trust him? He was appointed by Trump. Trump wants to stay in power. He'd be the last guy to tell us. Can you imagine how much fucking confusion this would cause amongst the Chinese? I'm dead serious. If Mark Milley, a Trump appointee, a general who'd been talking to his cohort about the South China Seas and about their aggression in certain areas and how Trump was, stomping around, all that shit, he calls the Chinese and goes, yeah, I don't know. Bro, I'll totally call you. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can... turn that off. Hello, check one. Hello, are you there? Hello, yeah, it's Milley. What's happening, babe? Listen, yeah, 你好. 我需要告诉你. Nah, I'm sorry, my Chinese is terrible. I'll just say it in English. Yeah, Trump, no, everything's cool. Yeah, no, minor coup, no big deal. Yeah, no, Trump is definitely leaving office. Oh yeah, no, I know he's saying that, but he's definitely, yeah. Oh yeah, dude, if he... Yeah, no, I mean, I know what this looks like on the news, but tell you what, bro, if we attack, I'll totally call you beforehand. Don't worry about it. Hey, just relax. Booby. I can give them to you. Okay. You call me back. Okay. 下一次见. Okay. 再见. Bye-bye. I need the hamburger phone. They only use that in real emergencies. Milley versus Bongino. And can you imagine the strategic advantage? Can you imagine the fucking confusion on the part of the Chinese when you call in like, hey, are you guys still a democracy or a dictatorship? And because your dude's a lunatic, is he going to attack us? Like, nah, but he appointed me as a general. And you know how that thing goes when dictators take over. The guy they appointed as the Joint Chief, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs and military leader. They're always soften the blow of a military dictatorship. Jesus Christ. Strategic advantage. Nobody gets a strategic advantage when you're calling them going, no, we will call you if you're going to die. Yeah, great.
Prior to Joe Biden taking over the presidency. Can you imagine? Hey, guys, can you imagine what the conversations going on in China were?
Yes, I just did.
Now we know we can manipulate the political system in the United States.
Or now we know we can manipulate the system in the United States if they're telling us the truth. What was that, Wong? I just said if they're telling us the truth. Why wouldn't they tell us the truth? Well, because they don't trust us. We don't trust them. Why would they tell us the truth? Isn't everything they said? Clearly, I cannot choose the wine in front of me. How do you say never get involved with a Sicilian when death is on the line in Chinese?
Star General, the Joint Chiefs Chairman, to notify us about an attack before it happens. So if we attack first, we know that no attack will likely happen.
No. He's talking about an offensive attack, stupid. If they attacked us, they're getting hit. We have contingency plans. Everybody's on board. Trump would totally let it happen. If they hit us. Get fucked. You know, that's what Milley was doing. He was trying to set up a situation where he could sacrifice a few of our soldiers. You know, he wanted his own Pearl Harbor. Get out of town.
Next 2 weeks because Mark Milley will put a stop to it. Think about that. Has he thought any of this through? Mark Milley
have you thought any of this true? I'm dead serious. Dan's neon blue annoys me with this red. Yeah, it's a bad contrast. It really is. With the black, yeah.
Seriously, this guy now, regardless of the man's prior service, thank you for that. You are a disgrace.
Yeah. Thank you for your service, you fucking traitor. That's like, how many times are we going to hear that from the right this week?
To the country, to the uniform, to the military, to the flag. You must immediately resign, and you should be put under a polygraph.
Why are you reading that off a piece of paper? You must immediately resign. We're all in, right? We're in the Tucker text circle where everybody, it's Greg Kelly and Tucker Carlson and Dan Bongino and Diamond and Silk and Michael and Dale and everybody, they all text each other. No, you hang up first. Don't forget. Yeah. Make sure. Say resign immediately. That's the phrase. Resign immediately. Yeah, we needed his quote as much as possible. I just talked to Steve Bannon. Yeah. He said resign immediately is the best way to go. Yeah. Resign and disgrace is too much. It's too soft. Trump likes to say disgrace, so he likes to say it's a disgrace. We leave that to him. We say resign immediately. Okay. Resign immediately. Okay. No, you hang up.
Test immediately, and if this is true, you should be tried for treason.
Well, by the way, congratulations, Bob Woodward. Everyone on the right thinks every word you type is the absolute truth.
I'm not afraid to use that word. No one else should either. Calling a communist nuclear-powered enemy behind the back of the President of the United States, to notify them you would give them the tactical advantage in a nuclear war by...
What? In a nuclear war? No one has a tactical advantage in a nuclear war, dumb fuck. If we attack you, I would call you first, meaning, hey guys, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're sending missiles your way. Okay, have a nice afternoon. Click. What the fuck do you think? What kind of, honest to God, what kind of mental boomerang do you have floating around in your goddamn head?
Them know before a strike. If that is not treason, I don't know what the definition.
Well, the treason would be stopping the strike that was duly ordered by Congress, or informing them without the consent of Congress or the military civilian leadership of the country, to give them a heads up, like in time for them to actually mount a response and giving them a tactical advantage, as opposed to you're about to get hit. Fucking hell. It's called mutual self-assured destruction for a reason, Dan. Exactly. Has this dude's never seen Dr. Strangelove? Well, hello, Dimitri. Mr. President, don't mention the big board. Yes, Dimitri. Could you turn the music down? Thank you. Yes, that's fine. I'm fine, Dimitri. Thank you for asking. I'm fine. And how are you? And you're fine? You're fine? Well, good. I'm fine and you're fine. We're both fine. Now, yes, Dimitri, that's perhaps for another time. But I needed to tell you, one of our generals, he went and he did a silly thing. And I'm going to tell you, Dimitri, he ordered his bombers to attack your country. And Dimitri, I know that. Yes. Well, I'm very sorry. Yes, of course I'm sorry. Well, yes. Well, I know you're sorry. Well, we're both very, very sorry. Now, we're going to give you we're going to give you the direction the planes are flying, and you're going to have to shoot them down, right? It was Alexei. Thank you. It was Dimitri, not Alexei, right?
Of treason. That is by no means too strong a word.
Well, you don't know any other words, stupid. That's the problem with Dan Bongino. He's got like 9 words. He's got like he's got the only like macho thesaurus. Only words that are tougher than the word you're looking for. You know what I mean? Like, what's a butch word for loser? Like, that's like everything has to be.
He should be polygraphed immediately. Folks.
Yeah, he admitted it. That's the chain of command. That's logical behavior that's what he's tasked to do. Please tell, I mean, honest to God, he has a macho thesaurus. It's like, he's got the brothesaurus.
The federal government, where I was as a GS 1811 special agent, if there's you have to get a polygraph to get the job, number one. But if there is a security problem with you
didn't take a polygraph to get this job, did you? I mean, I didn't. I started this show myself. This was in my fucking office, but you're on the radio and you have a show there. You didn't have to take there was no polygraph for this gig. I'm just guessing. How about this? How about this, Dan? How about you do your show on a polygraph and put it on screen? How about that? I think that's a great idea. If you're going to call out Mark Milley for doing stuff that's in standard fail-safe operating procedure, in the case of a strike that's illegal, letting the country that we don't intend to strike as a nation know that someone in our country has gone rogue and is striking them, letting them know is completely within that chain of command. I'm not worried about what Mark Milley will say under polygraph. I would like to see Dan Bongino do his show with a polygraph, but it'd probably have to have like to work on Dan's show, it'd have to have like one of those sledgehammer games at the carnival, and like, bro, the bigger the lie, the harder it rings the bell, bro.
You are forced to take a polygraph. There are 2 types of
a polygraph, not a did you say polygraph or polygram?
Security problem with you. Mm-hmm. You are forced to take a polygraph.
Polygrab. Sorry. That's where they grab you with both hands. Are they hiring right now? That sounds rather pleasant. I'm just saying. They grab you with both hands? I mean, some of us, they need to.
2 types of polygraphs. There's a national security polygraph and a criminal polygraph if they believe you violated criminal laws. The other one's obviously if they...
Right, yeah. And then if next level, you get the Scientology clear machine.
You're a national security threat. How is Mark Milley not being forced to undergo a polygraph right now?
Because he hasn't... There's no situation where there's an accusation that he's lied in any way, and they can always just bring him in front of the committee and he'll just tell you. He takes an oath. And then if he says differently, he hasn't denied any of this stuff. That's why. And it's not illegal.
No man is bigger than the United States government. This guy has his position due to the consent of the governed. If this is true, and he blows this polygraph, even though the polygraph information is not admissible in court, he should...
Okay. By the way, you can beat a polygraph with a rock or a tack in your shoe. No, he wasn't elected. He was appointed by an elected person. I'm sick of this deep state. These are unelected bureaucrats. They were appointed or hired by people who are in business. You fucking tool.
Put on trial for treason immediately.
Yeah, or you could go, what is the actual procedure in a circumstance like this? What how do we normally handle a situation like this? Well, we actually have stuff in place. We have systems in place that if the president were to lose his fucking mind and launch an attack, then the chairman of the Joint Chiefs would call the people that are being attacked as he's being removed, and then the vice president would attempt to issue a recall or order the missiles shot down, or, grown-up shit.
Now, part about this whole thing is Democrats have rushed to his defense. Why? Because as I discussed the other day, Democrats are involved in a cold civil war with the United States of America right now. They want this
a cold civil war. Cold civil war. We're going to be hearing that phrase a lot. He likes it. You can tell. It's a cold civil. It's more of a lukewarm civil war. I mean, obviously, well, no, technically speaking, it'd have to be cold. We're all snowflakes. I forgot.
destroyed. They know that conservatives traditionally defend law enforcement and the military, and their goal.
Yeah, well, you fucking stop now. Since when? Since when? I will state unequivocally again that the 13 service members who died in the extraction of our civilians and our Afghan allies did not have to die if the Trump organization had not given the Biden administration 2 jobs to do instead of 1.
Triaging their efforts. Goal number 1 has been to take out the military's credibility with conservatives, so conservatives have no institutions to rely on, and they.
That's right. We're undermining your belief in the military because they keep doing their job instead of showing their fealty to Donald Trump. Good Lord.
They evaporate their faith in the system we have.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. It's a psyop against the Bonginos of the world. We're trying to make them hate the military because they hate the military.
A collapse, and liberals rebuild a new one. They are involved in a cold.
Yes, it's going to be a new liberal army where everyone's going to have all the guns will shoot daisies, and there will be, we will accept all bombings as our responsibility in the world, and anything that Reagan and Nixon and Johnson and perhaps even Kennedy or Truman, anything they did in the past. We who live now are totally responsible. So if somebody's going to, blow up a pipe bomb or not, strap themselves up with bombs and walk in black, I mean, we kind of have it coming, don't we? I mean, that's what Hassan Piker says, right? That's that we America deserved 9/11. So he'll obviously be the general in charge of the liberal restructuring of the military, which will be permanent stand down order, 24-hour Benghazi. What the fuck are you talking about, you chump?
War with America, teaching racism to our kids to get them to hate each other, degrading our military, teaching our military to hate each other based on skin color. The left is a clear.
Well, no, I mean, if you're trying to get like Peckerwoods and white supremacists out of the military so that they don't start a race war, that's to the benefit of everyone who's in the military, including the other white people in there who are not part of that group.
And present danger to the United States of America, freedom and liberty, and Mark Milley has joined them. Mark Milley's more concerned with white rage than he is with winning wars. The man should be tried.
Sorry, winning what war? Winning what war? Are we going with the we lost Afghanistan again? Now, so Trump sets up the May 1st date. Biden punts it 3 months so we can get the special immigrant visa folks out. So we can do right by the people that served us there. And arguably, we could have needed more time, but that's all the Taliban would agree not to fire on Americans during that time. So Americans being the priority, that's what it took to get them out. And if the Trump administration had wanted to get any of these folks out, they could have gotten nearly all of them out by December after they had made this deal. Period. End of story. They could have started spiriting Afghans out of the country before we even started moving our embassy staff out. Could have done it easily. Didn't want to, chose not to, left that for the next administration, didn't give a rat fuck about it. And so Trump sets up, he releases the deputy minister of the Taliban, whatever, they have a bit of a shitty government situation right now, to say the very least. He sets them up to win, undermines the Afghan government, knows they're going to fall. He even said it in that stupid Firehouse video I showed. I knew they were going to fall the second we left, and we could have stayed for 10 years, and we should have stayed for 10 years. He was never going to leave, and he knew that they would fall, and he knew that if we started to leave, they would fall, and he didn't want that on his watch, so he didn't want the bad press that these assholes were giving to Biden right now, acting like there would have been another version of events. But ultimately, the 13 people that died are Biden's fault, not the people, who kept us in there for 20 years, and also the asshole who set up the deal to extract everyone and then didn't follow through with any of the material support and the actual mechanics of it.
Immediately. Institutions are collapsing everywhere. Liberals were involved in a coup. If he did this, he should be tried.
How are they involved in a coup? How is that a coup? Were we relying on Chinese nukes to get in power? Did Biden come into the White House and going, if you don't pack your shit, we're gonna nuke you? And they like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? Over under on attendance tomorrow? I think it's scattered groups about the size of the Alex Jones crowd that gathered on the 6th. Mix and match, people milling about. Yeah.
For treason. This was a coup. A military leader destroying the chain of command to notify an enemy is a very definition of a military coup.
They're not an enemy. We're not at war with them. We're not in a military war with them. They're an adversary on the world stage, clearly. But we're not in a hot war or even a cold war with China. And if we are, then Trump declared it and didn't tell anyone. And therefore, what did he manufacture his own Chinese version of the AUMF?
Of powers he did not have. Now, the Democrats have rushed to his defense, as I just said, because they want to destroy the country. Here's some audio video. Here's John Garamendi, a disgraced Democrat congressman, an embarrassment of a human being, right? Again, more proof that the 435 of the dumbest people on planet Earth all managed to get elected to Congress at the same time.
Weird. It must be something to be said about the American people in that regard. 435 of the dumbest American people? You don't want to actually go to the, let's say, like one of these sites that lists all the people who are actually in jail right now for it. There's over 600 of them who are in jail for attacking the Capitol. These people seem pretty dumb. There's more of them than there are Congress members. There's a stack of dum-dums in here. Look at that. There you go. Oh, there's a Sparks in there from Kentucky. Oh my God. Let's check out Michael Sparks. Derp. No relation. I don't know him. Sparks is pictured entering the Capitol building through a broken window when he allegedly helped break with other individuals. Once inside, Sparks appears to be nonviolent with Capitol police officers and with other individuals as well. Well, thanks for not totally besmirching the Sparks name. He's getting the trespassing and disorderly conduct thing. There's his indictment. There's his statement of fact. Here's the complaint against him. That's an unfortunate picture, Mike. I do not know a Mike Sparks. Is there a Bongino in there? I don't know. Is there a lot of Sparkses? How many Sparkses are in this? No, just one. Thank God. All right, here we go. Well, we'll continue. Hold on.
Exceptions. Here's video audio.
Did you learn how to do broadcasting from Greg Kelly? Did you guys all go to the greasy forehead school of broadcasting? Honest to God. I know you're doing a radio show, but A, sit up straight. This whole, like, this is such a thing. Him and Greg Kelly, always looking fucking straight down like we all need to see their forehead ridge.
Of Garamendi, I don't know if it's MSNBC, CNN, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to take this as by rote, of course. We are to assume, as a member of Dan Bongino's audience, that this contains all the context you will need. This is a clip that the person in the clip put out that sums up everything, the argument they're trying to say. That is, of course, the standard that I use on my show, which is, sometimes these assholes get a little long in the tooth. It gets a little boring, I got to say, sometimes. You guys are... Thanks for being so entertainingly stupid, Dan. But there's a bunch of these where they put out a clip that this one's 10 minutes long. This clip from Dan Bongino is 10 minutes long. So I'm showing you what Dan Bongino puts out about his show. And this guy's going to pick a clip that he chose of someone else. And let's see what the edit's like.
But he absolutely knows. I just did absolutely. You should never say absolutely. Absolutely don't say. He absolutely knows that the Democrats were involved in a coup, and I'll produce the evidence in a second with Mark Milley.
A coup. a coup. They'd won the election, fucko.
Of our Constitution and the usurpation of powers. So now he has to accuse Republicans of doing the same thing. And he admits what I've been telling you. The verdict is in.
Oh, God. Look, if you're going to have props, bring your fucking A game. He's got a gavel. What are you, Judge Judy now? Judge Juicy. It's more like it. I kid. We have no evidence that Dan Bongino has used any performance-enhancing drugs.
The Dan Bongino show was correct. Self-praise stinks. Whatever. Just allow me for this 1 second. What did I tell you about the January 6th Commission? About the insurrection? That it was being used, using the air quotes here, of course, that was being used to distract you from what the Democrats were going to do in the 2022 election and the Democrats' problems, including their involvement in the coup. Here's Garament.
What? Why? How? Okay, well, we'll see. He's going to present an overlap. So the January 6th Commission is not to get to the bottom of the worst attack on our Capitol and the security failures around it and who might have participated in it and who, if anybody inside the Capitol was coordinating with people outside the Capitol or had given them tours or welcomed them in or told them on the day, or whether the president himself was coordinating with groups that knew that they were going to go from that thing and they were going to get orders, like Alex Jones said, that half hour before the end of the speech, they were going to head up to the Capitol and be ready, and then Oath Keepers were going to show up and there'd be this big push and they were going to turn over the whole thing and they were going to hang Mike Pence and shoot Nancy Pelosi and do God knows what to AOC. And that's not why the January 6th Commission was formed. It was formed so that the Democrats could hide the fact that Milley responded, a Trump appointee, responded to how Trump was flipping the fuck out, clearly out of his mind, and might attack a country just to stay in power.
Basically admitting right now the January 6th committee is being used to flush all this Milley information and the Democrats' real coup down the toilet. Check this out.
Okay, so that's what's going to happen. We're about to see him basically admitting, that this is all just to hide Milley and the coup and flush it down the memory hole.
He, General Milley, called a secret meeting in his Pentagon office of top military brass and basically said to them, if you get calls, no matter who they're from, there's a process here, there's a procedure, no matter what you're told, you do the procedure, you do the process, and I'm a part of the procedure, meaning he didn't want them responding really to calls from the commander-in-chief.
Or Jared, or Rudy Giuliani, or any number of, or Stephen Miller saying the president just is having a nap, but he told me fire on China. Like, nobody in this asshole circle gets to pull the trigger without all of us present, like doing our goddamn job. Judge Duty.
He was involved as a member of the Armed Services Committee. Do you see that as an end run somehow around the commander-in-chief?
Of course. Trump was unhinged by the election, by his loss in the election, and he displayed that clearly from the evening of the election right on through to today.
The other side.
He remains unstable with regard to his election loss. He clearly was.
I don't know why you would say such a thing. He is obviously protecting everyone and dealing with our. Where are they?
MAGA.
No, that's not the one. Where did I put it? List me. It's got to be way down here, I bet.
Q snatch.
That's just wrong. Hold on.
The company that his son worked for, that's Liberalism.
Liberalism. I had it just a minute ago. Where'd it go? See in there? Oh, here it is.
Nuclear stockpiles.
Yeah, this is a sane man.
Building up our nuclear stockpiles.
Yeah, he's totally. I don't know why we're
Be
worried.
healed and really healed.
Yeah.
Building up our nuclear stockpiles.
Yeah, he's a totally sane human being with access to the goddamn button.
engaged in the January 6th insurrection. He brought those people, he encouraged them to come, and he then encouraged them to march on the Capitol. All of that is known. The investigations of all of this are underway now. The Select Committee is delving into all of these communications.
There we go.
There we go. It just said it's not what I said as would say. They're delving into all these communications. Please show me. Let's back up. I know we got a lot of times we end up seeing shit twice, but let's see this again. This is what Bongino says it's going to say.
Bongino show was correct. Self-praise stinks. Whatever. Just allow me for this 1 second. What did I tell you about the January 6th Commission? About the insurrection? That it was being used, using the air quotes here, of course, that was being used to distract you from what the Democrats were going to do in the 2022 election and the Democrats' problems, including their involvement in the coup.
Okay, so that's what it's for. And we just watched the clip. And then we'll see how Bongino says that what we just watched, which doesn't say that at all, that Milley called this together because they were concerned that Trump was losing his fucking mind, and that that he was fomenting this whole thing, and that they're looking into the communications that Trump had with coordinators of January 6th. It seems more aligned. It seems to more reinforce the idea that Milley was aware that Trump was a fucking lunatic and might do something illegal, awful, dangerous, or murderous. And it might justify even more extraordinary measures other than just the normal operating procedure.
Select Committee is delving into all of these communications.
There we go.
That was a cut. And a select committee is delving into all these communications. Cut. All right.
Oh, there we go. As I said to you there, my New York accent back. There we go. There we go. I told you what, 2-3 weeks ago, the entire purpose of the January 6th committee was to do the look, squirrel, shiny red object, to distract.
The fuck are you talking about? He just said they're aligned. Again, this is a man who, if you think his reading is terrible, he can't even comprehend words when he's watching them fall out of people's faces. Honest to God, this is some of the dumbest shit I have ever seen. Right? We do this. We've done this multiple times with Dan Bongino show. He does this a bunch. Bongino, who's looking for TP for his bunghole. Danny Boy. Oh, Danny Boy. He does this all the time. He says, watch, this guy says da-da-da. And then we watch the video. The person does not say anything even remotely close. We come back from the clip and Bongino's like, told ya, nailed it.
You from what was going to come out about the Democrats in the coming 2022 election. They want to.
What? Wait a minute. What's going to come out about the Democrats in the 2022 election? Huh? What the fuck does the election politics of next year have to do with Trump's rigged election bullshit leading to an insurrection and the concern of the people in the White House around him that he put there, that he was losing his fucking mind and might murder lots of people to stay in power? What? Jesus.
Fear in the 2022 election. They are going to use subpoenas and an endless fear campaign with this January 6th committee to distract you from the reality that the Democrats were involved with Mark Milley in a coup, and Mark Milley should be on trial right now.
How are they involved in a plot with him? Because he called Nancy Pelosi because she's third from the presidency, and we couldn't find Mike Pence because Mike Pence was in the goddamn building on the 6th? This is so sad. But keep trying, Dan. But I gotta say, none of us know what the fuck you're talking about. I swear to God. These are words. They are in some semblance of order. I think you think they make sense. They don't. And it's based on some idea that the Democrats have this strategy that they're going to enact. That they're going to, this is the new Benghazi. And you're like, this is what they're trying to do with the thing, and it's like working on this thing to make you forget, and while they're making us hate the military, they're gonna line themselves up with a Trump-appointed general who realized way late in the game that his boss was a fucking lunatic, and then they're gonna use that to hide the fact that we should still be in Afghanistan. What? Good Lord.
I mean, well, I want a hat tip, by the way. Hat tips are important. Jack Posobiec on his social media account pointed this out, and congrats to Jack on his new pod.
I see. So that guy posted something. This gave you the idea for the segment, and you're regurgitating a tweet you saw, which you thought made sense when you read it, and now we're all clear that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and that you populate your segments with the tweets and video clips of others. Okay. We've all gotten, this is like behind the scenes with the Bongino show. Hat tip, like tip of the hat to giving him it's a...
By the way, as well. The day Mark Milley allegedly made this phone call to the Chinese Communist Party, warning them, saying we would warn you about a nuclear strike in what I believe was an act of treason.
If we fire missiles on you, I'll call you about nukes. Like, don't worry, you'll hear from me right before you're nuked. And by the way, us calling them before we do a preemptive nuclear strike. I understand what the context is, because this is, by the way, Milley didn't even say nukes. Milley was talking about largely boats in the South China Seas or some sort of action that would be a kind of wag the dog moment where they would, the U.S. military would strike Chinese military or something. And there's a myriad of places they could do it. But because Dan Bongino is a big dum-dum and only thinks he's got 4 crayons for brain cells and he uses them by banging them with a hammer, he can only think nuke. And so nuke. So in his own brain, he can't actually wrap his head around the strategic aspect of South China Seas, standoff, whatever. It's got to be a nuclear strike. And there is no world in which we, in fucking January of this year, are launching a preemptive nuclear strike on the Chinese. At what point? This sounds like that guy was worried about nothing. You're placating him. Dude, well, I'll call you if we're going to nuke you. Believe me. We'll have several phone calls before the nukes fly. That's pretty reasonable considering mutual assured destruction, considering how many, like, hundreds of millions of Chinese civilians would die and how many Americans and South Koreans and everybody else, because once it starts, it cascades. It's like nobody's fucking... He's going to call them before a nuke. I'll tell you what, Dan Bongino, before I take a big duke on your head, I will call you. He's got ivermectin rage. Yeah, you think he's on the prednisone or whatever? There is no fucking way we're launching a preemptive nuclear strike on anyone without the Congress being involved, without there being some direct preliminary massive strike against us as well. Believe me, if there's going to be a shit ton of phone calls between the prime minister of or the military heads of other countries that we are going to think about dropping a fucking nuke on.
That day was January 8th. I want you to pay very close attention to this CNN tweet on the screen now. First, for those of you...
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told House Democrats that she got assurances there were safeguards in place in the event President Trump wanted to launch a nuclear weapon, according to multiple sources. Pelosi says she spoke to General Milley about Trump and the nuclear codes. Yeah, it lines up with this. You didn't freak out back then.
On Rumble. Look at the date on the bottom. January.
Right. They were worried. It was 2 days after the Trump coup.
8th, 2021. CNN. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told House Democrats that she's gotten assurances that there are safeguards in place.
By the way, I would like to point out, if I may, that this is Dan Bongino saying that CNN is a reputable source and their tweets are to be believed. I have no reason to doubt this CNN tweet based on the information that they might have, but I'm not the guy who tells you that CNN lies all the time and can't tell the truth and is always lying and full of lying liars and they lie all the time. Dan Bongino is. But right now, Dan Bongino wants you to know that Bob Woodward, who's a lying liar full of lies and lies, is telling the truth, and CNN is, who's a lying liar full of lies and lies, is telling the truth.
Event President Trump wants to launch a nuclear weapon, according to multiple sources. Pelosi says she spoke with who's that at the.
And by the way, Robert Costa was part of the writing process. There were a bunch of people asking this because Trump was losing his fucking mind.
Am I missing that? Is that General Milley? Pelosi says she spoke to General Milley on January 8th. On the same day, Milley's alleged to have called the Chinese Communist Party to warn them, usurping the powers of the President of the United States?
Well, not usurping it. Recognizing that if there was an attack, they would know about it because it would be completely overboard and devastating and illegal and would be against the will of Congress, against the will of the American people. Even with COVID, I'm going to guess a plurality of Americans don't want to nuke millions upon millions of Chinese people. Just saying.
He says, Joe, is that a hump for you? What do you,
This is where he has to check in with his producer or whoever's across the desk to reassure him that he hasn't gone down a word hole that he can't climb out of. This happens all the time.
Sounds kind of like the Democrats were involved in a conspiracy and a coup.
Or it could be that was the day everybody was the most worried about Trump losing his mind because the 6th that happened, his response was terrible. He continued to spiral, and then the Chinese reached out about this. And at that point, by the way, the House was not going to okay a first strike against China that day. That would be part of the chain of command as well.
Stop the acting duly elected. He was still the president of the United States from acting in his role as commander-in-chief.
How? If it was a legal act, he said, if we're going to hit you, I'll call you first. But it doesn't mean the missiles aren't going to come. If it was completely legal, if it was an actual warranted strike, if China decided to Pearl Harbor us on the 9th, this phone call doesn't mean shit, right? We all know this. Yeah, that's right. Keep in mind, it's a good point he makes preemptively. It wasn't that the president had ordered a nuclear strike and they got in the way. That's bad. It's that they weren't even going to allow him to. God forbid. Now, listen, there was a 1 in a million chance. 1 in a million? So I guess, there are 340 Americans who, if they were elected president, would launch a preemptive random nuclear strike on China. I mean, you can walk around. I've probably met those people. 1 in a million chance. Try 1 in a trillion, dipshit. We're not launching a preemptive nuclear strike on China apropos of fucking nothing.
Lord, and I'm not using his name in vain, that we would be in.
Excuse you?
That's bad. It's that they weren't even going to allow him to. God forbid. Now, listen, there was a 1 in a million chance, thank the Lord, and I'm not using his name in vain, that we would be in a nuclear strike with China. It's mad, mutually assured destructions.
Right, fucko. Yes, but the Chinese don't know that. And one of the reasons why we have mutual assured destruction is you make the other side aware that if they overstep their bounds because we're in transition or any of that shit, you're going to get hit. And I'll let you know. It'll be the last phone call you ever get. Don't even think about it. Just because we're a little shaky, understand.
Well, pun intended there.
Sorry, what pun?
Mutually assured destructions and, well, pun intended there.
Since when is that a pun? Motherfucker, that's actually the strategy. Mutual, South China Sea's military strike against boats, no pun intended. Oh, what a fucking bozo.
But can you imagine the tactical advantage to a nuclear-powered enemy, knowing you have entirely co-opted a political party, the Democrats, and the leaders of the military infrastructure so that the country's defenestrated in a 2-week period? You can attack them anytime you want.
No, you can't. There is no circumstance where that was like, go ahead, just fire on us anytime you want. And any world leader, by the way, that gets a phone call from someone saying that they are Mark Milley or the Joint Chiefs that says, go ahead and attack us. We're not going to do anything. I'll let you know if we're going to retaliate. This isn't about retaliation, fucko. This was never about retaliation. No one is even suggesting the concept of retaliation came up. This is about a nuclear first strike. There was no pun there. Everybody in the chat's like, pun? There's no pun. Oh. Spun's more like it. God damn.
Can you imagine the precedent this sets for the future with the Chinese Communist Party?
What precedent? They talk. Everybody else has talked. What in the world are you talking about? The precedent is we will negotiate before we launch a nuclear war, since there will be no winners and everyone will die.
Am I explaining this part right? Are you folks getting the strategic advantage? The Chinese Communist Party now knows they can manipulate U.S. politics and liberal idiots. I got more liberal idiots coming up. They can manipulate U.S. politics and liberal morons into their own enemy, the United States of America, giving up their nuclear power based on politics there, as long as they can take control of the political narrative in the country.
What are you talking about? They were worried we were destabilized and that we were going to launch a nuclear attack on them for nothing. In what world does he think that this is the same thing as saying if they fired nukes on us, we wouldn't retaliate and we're letting them, or we would just shrug it off, or the Democrats would even consider that? What the fuck are you talking about? By the way, the vast majority of China's nukes would leave the silos, spin out of control, and explode without nuking. They would just, the conventional explosives in them would blow them up. Just not the highest quality stuff. Look at the ships. I'm just saying.
Can you imagine this?
No, I can't, because it's ridiculous. Because you're ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But try harder. There's other people who've been arguing that Milley's a traitor and all that kind of. This is the general thought form around them. This is just the dumbest version we could find.
The Chinese Communist Party now knows this. As long as they can manipulate liberals in the country into hating the president, i.e. Donald Trump, so much, they can get liberals to agree to...
Well, Milley isn't a liberal. Milley's not a Democrat either. Milley doesn't hate the president. He's concerned he's fucking crazy at this point, and that he might launch an attack, or that, not even that it might even happen, but at one point he was obviously worried about that around November. But by the time January 8th came around, this is about a conversation that Trump wouldn't be able to surpass the normal chain of command and launch an attack just to stay in power, because he'd already tried to kind of foment his own militia coup. It failed. What was his second bite at the apple before January 20th? I mean, I don't know why I'm even arguing the logic of this nonsense.
Never strike China while China won't agree to never strike us. What a deal. The precedent is set.
What? Yeah. We won't give you a 45-second head start on your missiles. What do you think they're going to do? Shoot ours out of the sky? We have nuclear subs parked off of Beijing right now. And Shanghai. Did you not... Oh, by the way, let's all take a deep dive into the vacant areas of Dan Bongino's dome. Let's see. AUKUS. Yeah. Whoops. Whoops. There we go. This is what the liberals supposedly are doing. Remember how Trump was always complaining that our allies in Europe are always trying to screw us on trade and nobody ever pushes back and the Democrats don't know how to do it and Trump's the guy to make that happen and these guys don't know. Okay, let me show you something. This is what's happening actually right now. This is what Bongino and everybody at Fox News wants you to not know is happening or forget is happening. UK, US, and Australia launch pact to counter China. There's the Quad. We've heard about the Quad, the 4 countries involved in this, including Japan. This is specifically the UK, US, and Australia, but there's also the Quad that involves the South Asian nations and Australia. But this one announced a historic security pact. That's weird because if you're just gonna do whatever China wanted, let me just show you how dumb Dan Bongino is. I mean, we all know he is dumb. Well, let's show how dumb. Let's see. EU. Let's see if I can do this. Deal. It's the the ACI. There's a new name for it. So this has been going on. Here you go. Let me try and expand this a little bit. So this happened. You know, we've been talking about Brexit and all the shit happening with the Great Britain pressing, back against the EU and the separation from them and yada, yada, yada. And then the UK, Australia, and the US have formed this pact to deal with China in terms of, we provide security for most of China's shipping, especially when it goes around Africa and other countries, which is very dangerous for everyone involved, but we've been letting them do it for free for a long time. This will let Australia build nuclear-powered submarines for the first time, and Biden made a statement about this. These are nuclear-powered. They do not have nukes. They are conventional warhead. They have torpedoes and guns and shit like that. We have nukes in the area, and these submarines will give cover to those things, but which is one of the reasons why China's freaking out about this particular deal and why they're mad about it. But it will let Australia build nuclear-powered submarines for the first time using technology provided by the U.S. The AUKUS Pact, which will also cover AI and other technologies, is one of the country's biggest defense partnerships in decades. China has condemned the agreement as extremely irresponsible. Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian said it seriously undermines regional peace and stability and intensifies the arms race. They don't have any money for the arms race right now, the Chinese. They're going to make people build shit, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be the highest quality stuff. They have their own problems. We've talked about this. Evergrande's just the tip of the iceberg. They have huge economic problems. They're becoming more isolationist. The Belt Road Initiative is collapsing in a bunch of countries, and they were counting on the money from the loans they did in the Belt Road Initiative to deal with their debts back home, and they're not getting paid. So it's getting fucked up. Cold War mentality and ideological prejudice, right? The pact also created a row with France. You know, those European allies that Trump was always shitting on because they aren't reciprocal with us with trade, which has now lost a deal with Australia to build 12 submarines. We're now going to build them. American companies and American technology in conjunction with shipbuilding places in Australia. It's really a stab in the back, France's Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian told France Info Radio. The new partnership was announced in a joint virtual press conference between U.S. President Joe Biden, Boris Johnson, and his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison on Wednesday. And while China was not mentioned directly, the three leaders referred repeatedly to regional security concerns, which they say have, quote, grown significantly. Australia's risky bet to side with the U.S. over China. It's not risky at all. It's their only choice. Meanwhile, there's been this EU-China investment deal that's been sitting for a while. It was slowed down by COVID, but now they're ginning it back up. Let's see, both sides. Yeah, there's a lot of complaints about how the Chinese were saying they would live up to certain protections, not steal European technology, all the stuff they do with us, and the Europeans aren't necessarily buying it, but this is happening, right? An investment pact between the European Union and China is still possible. Both sides may wait until 2023 for the earliest to ratify the deal, said an analyst from Eurasia Group. EU and China agreed on the deal in December. There it is. Boink. This is it. China scores an EU investment deal before Biden takes office, and it wants to do more. This is why. I'm sorry, who was president before Biden took office? So the European Union, and specifically Germany and France, have been leaders on this EU deal with China for, an extension of sort of it is a comprehensive agreement on investment. And the deal was rushed into place and comes before Joe Biden is sworn in as president. In contrast to the Trump presidency, Biden's administration is widely expected to work alongside allies such as the EU to manage relationships with China, i.e. push back. Trump wasn't interested. He was too busy getting his daughter's patents cleared. So these submarines that are going to be built with U.S. tech are going to be built by U.S. workers in conjunction with Australian workers to push back against China, to create a net against their expansion in the South China Seas, and to protect Taiwan and all that. I mean, this is on Earth One, as Rachel Maddow likes to put it. In reality, this is happening. Okay. Right now, this is what the Biden administration is actually doing. Beyond the bullshit that that this dickhead is telling you that Milley and Nancy Pelosi and China were all in cahoots together to kick Trump out. Meanwhile, this is what's happening while Biden is in office. Yeah, you wouldn't include the French because you wouldn't want it to be Faucus. And this is what was rushed through during the final months of the Trump administration because he didn't give a shit and wasn't paying attention. And the Biden administration have been against this from the start. It is precisely why they didn't do it. And the French are fucking pissed. Why this pact signals a AUKUS, UK, US, Australia pact signals Asia-Pacific power shift. This is the gathering that they had virtually. The timing of the new deal is particularly significant. It comes just a month after the U.S. exit from Afghanistan, when doubts have been raised in multiple quarters about U.S. commitment in the region, meaning pushing back on China. What we've decided to do is not push back from an area of land they don't give a fuck about that we can just fly over, but push back from the seaside where it matters. This is actual strategy happening. Britain, too, is eager to be more involved in the Asia-Pacific, especially after its exit from the European Union, and Australia is increasingly concerned about China's influence. It is a big deal because this really shows that all three nations are drawing a line in the sand to start and counter the Chinese Communist Party's aggressive moves into the Indo-Pacific. It also publicly demonstrates our combined stance on this and commitment to a stable and secure Indo-Pacific region, one that for the past 70 years has led to prosperity of all in the region, including China's economic growth. What does it involve? It involves sharing information and technology in a number of areas, including intelligence and quantum technology, AI, as well as the acquisition of cruise missiles. This is one of the reasons why China is also freaking out. This is something also that the Trump administration was not for. This is now something that the U.S. is providing Australia in this case. But the nuclear submarines are key. They're built in Adelaide in South Australia and will involve U.S. and U.K. providing consultation on technology for their production. Mainly patents for a lot of the stuff that's in them and the nuclear material for it, which we will provide and maintain and all that kind of stuff, which is part of the budget and blah, blah, blah. A nuclear submarine has enormous defense capabilities and therefore ramifications for the region. Only 6 countries in the world have nuclear submarines. They are really powerful deterrent capability without giving them nuclear weapons. There you go. nuclear submarines are more stealthy than conventional ones. The Chinese won't know where they are. How will Asia react? Not well. President Biden will host the first in-person meeting of the leaders of the Quad group. That's these guys. That's the next step. So this is happening. This is happening. To counter that this is happening, and this dumbass couldn't even comprehend the strategic level of moves that are being made right now around the South China Seas, pushing back, protecting Australia, protecting Taiwan, that the UK, the US, and Australia are. And remember, what did we do, was it about a month ago? We were talking about how our special relationship with the UK is dead, right? As we left Afghanistan, our special relationship, it's a special relationship. It's dead now. Remember that whole conversation when we left Afghanistan? And we were telling people, look, don't send guys with guns into the street to pick up your people. Just go get them, or we'll go get them. But don't kill anybody on the way because it'll start a hot war, and we just want to get everybody out as quickly as possible. And there was all this back and forth, and he wasn't even returning Boris Johnson's call for fucking 4 days. Remember that? That was a whole conversation. He wasn't even, or for 48 hours, was it? 48 hours, right? Well, apparently, everybody's made up. Everybody's fine now. They're over it. They recognize the importance of the threats they're dealing with, and they're sucking it up. And this guy likes this guy more than this guy likes this guy or this guy. Just so you know. That matters, but not a whole lot. He's a little confused. But this whole pact, it has value. And mainly, this is what's going on. The U.S. and Australia aligning to push back against China in the Indo-Pacific is fucking enormous. But Dan Bongino thinks that Nancy Pelosi was going to tell the China that they could blow us up. That's it. That's the end of it. Hold on. Wait.
The Chinese Communist Party now knows this. As long as they can manipulate liberals in the country into hating the president, i.e. Donald Trump, so much, they can get liberals to agree to never strike China while China won't agree to never strike us. What?
What? Can you imagine if that wasn't the second dumbest thing anyone's ever fucking said in their whole life? Hold on, let me see if this will even work. What? Can you guys, what? 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 I can't understand. What? They're just gonna let them nuke us? When did that happen? What the hell? I need some protein, and I need to juice up. They're gonna just let them kill everybody. Nancy Pelosi probably speaks Chinese. I saw her dancing. She was dancing in Chinatown. What? What? Yeah. What? Sorry. I should have some hair on the top of my head for this bit, but I don't have a filter that does that. What? Hold on. This is so stupid. Sorry.
Liberals to agree to never strike China while China won't agree to never strike us. What a deal. The precedent is set.
God, can you imagine being that big a dipshit? Do you think... I don't watch Dan Bongino's show. Maybe one of our trolls watches the show. You think Dan Bongino has the cranial space? I mean, I know he's got the space, but he's got the cognitive ability, the ability to link thoughts together strongly enough to process in his brain the AUKUS agreement versus the French-led China deal in the EU with China, and the pushback against that, and the fact that we are now providing technology to Australia to make nuclear-powered subs that, and aligning that and using those things to push back against Chinese expansion in the region. You think he you think he can put those thoughts together? You think all the elements of those things like bounce off each other, like atoms that are spinning too fast. Boink.